So if you've never listened to traditional Hawaiian music, it's really good. There is more modern Hawaiian music. It's kind of a mix of reggae and Hawaiian. They call it Hawaiian, I guess, to denote the Jamaican influence or whatever. Um, I'm not a big fan. I really like the traditional Hawaiian. And I put it in the same kind of category as classical or traditional jazz. It's just very pleasant to listen to. Um, Great vocals, great melodies. It's uh, it's just nice music, and of course it fits Hawaii like a glove. People are always surprised when I tell them how much I like traditional Hawaiian, but it's just the way it is. It's good. Anyway, I made this recording, this video, a few weeks back, and you can see from the wind blowing all the vegetation that you can assume that the audio was not that good. So I have to re-record this, and it gives me a chance to play some Hawaiian music. And what I was thinking about or ranting about in this video was the way humans have, or some of us anyway, have adopted or transformed ourselves into human billboards, advertising our favorite sports team or our devotion to some fashion designer, or maybe just a slogan. Let the world know that you're, I don't know, a princess bitch or something. It's always amazing to me, some of the slogans you see on this clothing. Whereas if you think about it, 50, 60, 70 years ago, people didn't have all these advertising on their clothing. They, had certain materials, depending on their socioeconomic class. They just looked good, generally speaking, given what they could afford. You think about the actors and actresses back in the day, and their fashion was almost timeless, whether it was a Humphrey Bogart or a Lauren Bacall or a James Dean. You could plant them in today's society, and people just recognize they look cool. It's that timeless quality. Whereas today, people are, for whatever reason, they're paying a fair amount of money to advertise for these corporations or whatever, who are making these clothes, and it boggles my mind. I can understand if you're an athlete and you get paid by a clothing company to wear their apparel. I completely understand that. But if you're just some random citizen, why would you pay to advertise for someone else? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And it's part of it is, I guess, this nonverbal communication that people have to self-identify as part of some almost fashion tribe. And I guess it's a way to call out your socioeconomic status and let other people know, I guess, your product allegiances or what have you. But it's really bizarre to me, and especially adults. I can understand kids wanting to put that out there, who they are and what they're about. Again, it's like a non-verbal communication thing, but or it's used to trigger, initiate communication. But as an adult, especially fairly middle age and beyond, if you're still advertising, walking around as a human billboard, and unless you get the clothes for free or something, I just do not get that. It really is bizarre. And then I guess the other thing kind of bleeds into this whole concept of a human billboard is the just absolute I don't know, obsession that a lot of people have with tattoos. And of course, tattoos go back, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of years for tribal identification. I get all that. But now in modern society, you see people they have tattoos of their parents' faces or their children's names or their birthday or even an outline of the state of their birth. It's all this telling of a story about themselves, this nonverbal communication to others. I have to assume it's to others. And it's not that some of it, the occasional tattoo is a well-designed piece of art, although I'm not sure why you couldn't just draw it on a piece of paper or paint it and put it on, in a frame and hang it on a wall. Why you have to get it carved into your skin is a little bit odd. I understand people want to sometimes commemorate a special occasion, with friends or whatever, so they all go in and get a tattoo together. I'm not sure. I don't really get that either. Why you have to carve yourself up and inject ink into your skin. Oh, by the way, the compounds that make up these inks are not exactly good for you. If you just read up on the different, I guess, elements within the inks, it's not good, not particularly healthy, and it's why if you get a tattoo removed, the complications from that are even more severe than just getting the tattoo originally, because it breaks up those compounds and then gives them an opportunity to get into the bloodstream and do even more damage. So yeah, it's not a good thing. I guess, singular tattoo or whatever, it's not that big of a deal. But I've talked to a lot of people and I've noticed a lot of people who are just obsessed and they have dozens of tattoos, and if you talk to them about it, they have all these other tattoos planned. And it's really, again, it's this over-the-top nonverbal communication. I guess it's a way to differentiate themselves from other people, aside from just, being you and developing your interests and intellect. It, I guess, is an extension of the fashion thing in a way, and maybe it's, if you aren't wearing clothes, if you have to, happen to go to the beach or what have you, maybe they feel in place of that advertising on their clothing, they need to advertise on their bodies. They're just these, I don't know, minions for Madison Avenue advertising firms or some such, where they constantly have to be projecting these I don't know, slogans, designs, what have you. Uh, it's it's very odd. In fact, I was watching some. I guess it was a prelim, or I guess it was a weigh-in day for a mixed martial arts match, and one of the competitors got up on the scale, took off his shirt, got up on the scale, and you could see it used to be that you would, if you had tattoos, you wanted to get them in places where it wasn't visible to other people, so it didn't affect your image or your job prospects or whatever. Now it's the opposite. Here's this guy who gets on this scale in front of thousands of people prior to his match, and he had nothing under, no, his skin was completely devoid of tattoos underneath his shirt. All his tattoos were on, complete sleeves. I think he had a neck tattoo or whatever. It was all visible. It was all an extension of his brand or what have you. So it's completely reversed course in that people are getting tattoos to be more visible, or to have them more visible. Again, is all part of this nonverbal communication. But to people who aren't of that mindset, it's kind of a warning sign, like, wow, this person not really thinking long term, not really thought this through all that carefully, probably impulsive. It's kind of a warning sign, like some brightly colored insect that might be poisonous, that you might want to avoid this person. And it also, being the human billboard, whether it's just clothing and or tattoos that advertise something, you're also setting yourself up to be prejudged prior to any conversation whatsoever, without someone even knowing a thing about you. They're gonna see all this advertising and make some sort of assumptions about the type of person you are. Or maybe that's what you want. It's probably what a lot of people want, subconsciously or unconsciously. But it also limits you in that you might cause people to, like I say, those people who aren't into the human billboard thing, to not approach you or try and avoid contact, right? And so you're your interactions with people will be with similar people. And that gets to be a little bit, I don't know, intellectually incestuous maybe. And that you're not mixing with, you know, people of different walks of life as much. Of course, you're going to hang out with people who share the same interests for the most part, but the people from all kinds of avenues of life that can really open up your horizons and thinking about life that might otherwise avoid you because of this need to be a human billboard. So it's something to think about, especially if you haven't already, tatted yourself up or whatever. And it really, really is strange to me. And I'm not, like I say, I'm not against tattoos. I'm not, I think one here or there can look very nice. It doesn't matter if it's visible or not. But some of this stuff, the whole, I could get into body modification, these ear gauges, and all, weird piercings and what have you. Again, it's almost like a distraction from other things that you would spend your time and money more productively elsewhere, whether it's reading or traveling or what have you, just exploring yourself in the world. So anyway, that was what this rant was about.